Don't like my silly job, you don't get its silly perks. I work as an assistant stage manager for a theater. It's not some big fancy Broadway place, just a smaller local theater, but I absolutely love what I do. The tech theater community in my area is pretty tight. Like, we all know each other, even if we work at different venues. One of the directors I work with has a husband who sits on the board at the biggest theater in town, the one that gets all the traveling Broadway shows. These tickets are insane to get. Season passes cost like $1,000 per seat for 7 shows. Individual tickets go for $150 minimum, sometimes way more if the show is really popular. My future mother-in-law, Lisa, has been dying to see Aladdin. Like, she brings it up every time I see her. She asked if there was any way I could help her get tickets, since she knew I worked in theater. So I called my director and asked if her husband could help out. He managed to score 2 prime seats at a discount. Instead of $150 each, they ended up being $75 total for both tickets. I reserved them under my name with the understanding that Lisa would pay me back for the tickets. A couple weeks go by and Lisa invites me and my fiance Jake over for dinner. Everything's going fine until somehow we end up talking about housework. I have no idea how we even got on this topic. Jake's sister Amy is a teacher and her husband's an accountant. She says they split all the chores 50-50. Lisa thinks that's great and asks how Jake and I plan to handle it when we move in together. I'm like, probably the same, 50-50. Amy agrees, but Lisa gives me this look, like this stink eye that could cut through steel. I ask if something's wrong and she goes, well, Jake works full-time and you don't, so I don't see how that's fair. I told her I do work full-time, just not a regular 9 to 5 like Jake does. That's when Lisa actually laughed at me, right in my face. She goes, what you do isn't real work, it's just a silly side gig. Maybe if you got a real job, you'd know what it's like to actually work. Then she just changed the subject like she didn't completely insult my entire career. I sat there trying not to lose it. I'm really proud of what I do. Stage managing a full production takes actual skill. I'm running tech crews, coordinating lighting cues, making sure actors hit their marks, managing props, and set changes. It's not some hobby I do for fun. This is my dream job, and I make enough money to pay all my bills. But Lisa thinks it's silly. The car ride home with Jake was awkward. He tried to defend his mom saying she didn't mean it that way, but she literally called my job silly and said it wasn't real work. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Lisa laughing at me. The next morning I called the box office at the big theater. The tickets were still in my name, so I told them to cancel both seats. They said no problem and canceled them immediately. Then I texted Lisa. I kept it simple. If you think my job isn't real, then the perks from it aren't real either. I canceled your Aladdin tickets. Then I turned off my phone. The next day when I turned it back on, I had 11 missed calls from Lisa and probably 20 texts. She was absolutely losing it. Her friend was flying in from out of state specifically for this show. They'd already made plans around it, dinner reservations, the whole thing. I called her back and very calmly suggested she try calling the box office herself. Maybe they'd have something available. She did call them, and she got seats, but they cost her $150 each instead of $75 total. Plus, the seats she got were way worse, like up in the nosebleed section where you need binoculars to see the stage. Lisa called me back screaming about how I ruined everything. I just said, well, these were perks from my silly little side gig, so I figured you wouldn't want them anyway. She hung up on me. Jake's been getting an earful from his whole family. His sister keeps texting him saying I overreacted. His dad thinks I should apologize and pay Lisa back the difference. But here's the thing. Lisa paid $300 total for tickets she could have had for $75. And every time she sat in those terrible seats watching Aladdin, she got to think about how she called my job silly. Jake finally came around after a few days. He realized his mom was completely out of line and told her she owed me an apology. She hasn't apologized yet, but she did stop calling my job a side gig.